Hey, all you potable bards and bardettes, welcome back to iCast Vicious Mockery.
A show about gold, about stars, and about white satin gloves.
And about how to find safe drinking water in a survival emergency.
That would be good to know, but that's not what this show is about. I'm Matt.
I'm Austin. And that is definitely going in like the tags and stuff for this show. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. Everyone's going to see this. They're going to know exactly how to survive.
Yeah. Your ears have reached the dulcet tones of iCast Vicious Mockery.
I thought you meant my ears. I mean, I guess they have.
Yeah, yours too. Feel free to put this on as you're getting ready to go to sleep at night, or just as you wake up in the morning as a refresher, or while you're showering to accompany you so you feel like I can gently massage your shoulders, or while you're eating breakfast so you have a companion, or really anytime. There's no bad time to listen to this show.
There's no bad time.
No.
There isn't.
There's no bad time to listen to this show.
I mean, you can't go wrong.
Maybe you live in Washington, D.C.
Right.
And, well, maybe you live in Virginia and you work in Washington, D.C. So your commute can be anywhere from 15 minutes to 3.5 hours, depending on the traffic. You need something substantial to keep you
well fed.
Well fed.
You need some nourishment.
You do.
For your big doughy body.
So, you also need emotional nourishment.
For your big doughy psyche.
And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, we can't do the body one.
No.
Or can we?
Nothing.
Check your glove box.
Oh. It's that Kit Kat you stashed away from Halloween.
That's right. We knew about that. We saw you do that. Remember, we're always with you. There's never a bad time.
And you know what? We didn't tell anybody. That's why that Kit Kat's still there.
It might be a little melty. A little bit. You've eaten worse.
Your Uber passengers had no idea. That's right. You work in Washington, D.C. as an Uber driver.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens a lot.
You're probably the one who had to pick me up and drop me off at the shuttle parking lot because I didn't realize that the show that I went to see at the nightclub, the doors opened at 9, but I didn't realize that the show didn't actually start until 10, and the main act didn't go on until midnight, and I wasn't really expecting to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I certainly wasn't expecting that the metro wasn't running that late at night, and that I would need to get an Uber back to the because I was staying in Baltimore. Anyway, the gloves of the perfectionist. That did happen to me, by the way.
Yeah.
That was true.
Yeah. Who brings this to us, these perfectionist gloves?
You know, this was not intentional, but it's the name we don't know how to say. Rudocini.
Get out of here, man.
I know. He's just got good stuff, you know?
Yep.
He's just got good stuff. So the gloves of the perfectionist, if you miss on an attack roll or fail a saving throw.
Oh, I like it already. Okay.
You can roll an additional D20 and you must use the new result. But if you use this feature and then re-roll and still miss the attack roll or fail the saving throw, then you take 1d10 psychic damage and are stunned until the end of your next turn.
I like that a lot.
However, if you roll a natural 20 on the reroll, you gain 1d10 temporary hit points. And can roll one additional damage die from your weapon.
Nice. That's really good. Like, it's the kind of thing where the benefit of it is so good, you really want to do it all the time.
Right.
But the drawback is serious enough that you're like, I probably shouldn't do that right now, but I'm going to do it. I'm about to do it again. Hey guys, look at my dice. I'm about to do this one more time. Yeah. Oh, what's that in my hand? Is that another dice? Oh.
So yeah. This is kind of similar to a mechanic that we saw 2 or 3 episodes ago. I don't remember now. This was because I liked this from the Gerudo people from the Breath of the Wild. They had something similar to this where they didn't like messing stuff up. So if they messed something up, they could choose to get a bonus for their allies around them. This is kind of similar, though it makes more sense as a magic weapon, the way it works mechanically. And the Gerudo one makes more sense the way it works as like a racial trait.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Or even just a personality trait, honestly.
Yeah. Well, off to a strong start. I'm going to say that I feel like, yeah, that's a hard thing to do in D&D is play like a perfectionist.
Yeah.
You know? Like that type of... Because you don't have control over so much stuff.
Yeah, you have control over frighteningly little. The DM has so much control over what happens in the game. You know, what I really like about this is I really like that if you do it and you still mess up, it has such a profound effect on your character. Like it turns them into a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Like I've known people who probably could be classified as perfectionists. And that seems to be, not as a rule, but it seems to kind of be how it goes. If they mess something up, it really weighs on them like a lot.
Yeah, one mistake is worth 1,000 successes.
Right. Exactly. And quite frankly, I find it really hard to understand how somebody could live like that. Like, you know,
how does it feel to mess something up and not think about it for the rest of your life?
Yeah. There are some mistakes that I've made in my life that still follow me to this day, I'll admit, but not all of them. That's for sure.
Really?
Really.
Fascinating. So, no, I actually, I can't remember all of the mistakes I've made either because there are too many. But I think that's what a perfectionist actually feels like. Like you're constantly just, because I mean, think about when 99.9% out of 100 is a mistake. Think about how many mistakes you must make.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah. Yeah, like I think everybody's gone to high school with somebody like that, you know, who, you know, like everything,
like whole body turns, they might even actually break out in hives before a test.
Yeah, like a test is a super huge deal.
Yeah.
And getting a B is unacceptable. You know, getting like, 99% is unacceptable. Right. That's why, but I don't know. Does that make, I'm not so sure that people who are like that make a significantly larger impact on the world than anybody else. You know what I mean?
They don't.
Right.
Like you, I think that actually it just doesn't work.
No,
it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And having the using anxiety to push yourself into getting valedictorian or whatever in high school is not necessarily a skill set that you need in the real world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, I'm not going to belittle. I mean, if you were your school's valedictorian, that's an admirable accomplishment. I don't want to belittle anybody who's like that. And I would say that the same thing applies to people who didn't really have to put any hard work in and got valedictorian, because that happens too. They're not really necessarily any better off. I'm not saying hard work is dumb. That's not what I think.
Right.
But I just think that if you were valedictorian,
well, okay,
and you okay,
anxiety is not hard work.
No,
those are different things. And I think like a lot of perfectionists, I don't think it's actually fair to call a person a perfectionist, because I don't think anyone is
literally.
Yeah. I don't think that there are definitely people who lean toward that, but there's no way that there is somebody who needs all things in their life to be perfect. You know, like I think everyone's fine with cutting corners, so to speak, in some areas.
Yeah, it's always like a few things in their life. You know, a perfectionist. In fact, a perfectionist might not care about school at all.
Right.
You know, and they might disregard their grades, but maybe a perfectionist becomes a professional speedrunner.
Right.
You know, and they're obsessed with getting the best time in a game. You know, I feel like that's a similar sort of personality trait. You know, that was described to me. I'm not going to do this justice because I don't remember it precisely, but for a very brief period of time, I'm talking like maybe a month and a half, I started getting into Magic the Gathering. I went on Magic the Gathering Arena, and I never paid for anything. I always just did the free cards and built decks and stuff. But I was told that there are 3 types of Magic players. There are the people who can't lose no matter what, or else it's like insane. And that's kind of the people that we're talking about, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 don't matter for the sake of this conversation. Really. but there's like, there are the people who just like to play because they think it's cool. And then there are the people who like the game because they like the cards. And they think the cards are cool.
Yeah.
And they don't even necessarily care about playing the game. But I think I like to win, but very clearly not as much as some people do, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know what it comes down to with that sort of competitiveness, is like, I don't know if they like to win or if they hate losing. Right. Like it almost feels like, it can't just be that they hate losing, because then they would opt out of competition entirely. So they must like to win, but they must hate losing, you know, even more than they like to win. You know? Like, I think the absolute, like, if you took the magnitude of those 2 emotions, the you know, response to a loss is probably greater than the response to a win. But they like the feeling of the win enough that they keep going toward it, you know?
Yeah. You see that in a lot of professional sports, you know? One thing that I didn't know when I was a kid, is that Michael Jordan.
When you were a kid.
Yeah, I'm a squid now, so.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan was, you know, he was lauded as the best basketball player of his time. And it was true, I think.
Yeah.
Objectively, I think it was true.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. One thing I never knew, I just knew that like because everybody talked about him, and he was a big like public figure. I never really watched basketball, but I saw not even a documentary, but just like a little small snippet of his career and his life, and I never realized how competitive he was. And I just thought like, oh, he was a great basketball player. No, he like actively he like bullied people on the basketball court
on both teams.
Yeah, on his own and on the others. Yeah. Exactly. Like he like went after it like in a really aggressive way. And it makes me wonder like that's an avenue to being considered the best in something. But is there another way? I don't know. Like, can you think of anybody who's considered the best in their field that didn't act like that?
Don Bradman.
Don Bradman. Okay.
The greatest athlete at his sport of all time, I believe, still, possibly.
Do you care to share the sport?
Cricket.
Cricket. Okay.
He was more better at cricket than anyone ever has been at anything.
Wow. Okay.
He was more better than everyone else at it than anyone ever has been.
So as far as you can tell, what drove him?
Money.
Oh, really?
And well, he was like competitive, but cricket is a little bit less of a like team, like head-to-head competitive game. Like you can't smack talk the pitcher as easily. Are they? No, the bowler.
The bowler.
That's what they're called.
Yeah.
You can't smack talk the bowler as easily from, I don't know, 15 shekels away or whatever it is. Some kind of crazy measurement. So
sounds like a line out of Rick and Morty.
Yeah. But so the focus is kind of on like just getting up there, focusing in and performing, like doing the thing right. And he like during his career, he is like 6 standard deviations above.
Wow.
Like a normal, like an average cricket, like professional cricket player. Or something crazy like that.
That's a lot.
He also fought in World War II in the middle of his cricket career.
Wow. Okay.
In the middle.
In the yeah.
And
on both ends of that, he was still the best.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, he somehow like he was really good. Like his average, your average batting rate is out of 100%. And his is 99 point something, only because, well, not only, I mean, it's because of the whole thing, but the last game that he played in, he like just missed and got a 0% that game. And it dropped him below 100, I think. It was like, wow. He was like right there. So, because you can actually get higher than 100 as well, but no one else was even close at that point to getting something like that. Now, okay, I don't have that many anecdotes about him to go off of, though. I know a lot more about Michael Jordan because I have watched documentaries on him. And I've heard what he's said and what everyone else around him has said about how he plays. And certainly I could see Don Bradman, you know, it would make sense if he was the same way, but for cricket, like the equivalent thing. I feel like there is some aspect of that to be the best in the world at something. Like there are other ways to go about doing it, but you end up getting a different reputation. Almost, I feel like, right? Like you get this reputation as like the coolest basketball player or whatever. You know, like you're the nicest basketball player.
Yeah, maybe. And that's not without its significance, you know?
No.
I mean, because people don't, well, I think with sports, it's different. Maybe it depends on the audience. I think sports is generally just an aggressive game where emotions aren't important. Well, being able to control your emotions is important.
Yeah.
But I mean that emotions...
Like, nobody cares what the players felt on the court necessarily. Right?
Correct.
Like, people just come in, they watch the spectacle. And then, like, if people get mad on the court, that's like a bonus. Hey, we got to see a basketball game and a fight tonight.
And a fight, yeah.
It was awesome. But now I'm mad too. Like, wait, maybe it is important.
Anger,
people ride the emotional roller coaster with their teams. And
that's true. That's true. Okay, let me put it a different way.
By the way, in case you guys didn't realize listening to this is a podcast, not like a planned out thing. We're coming up with stuff on the fly. We're like, these are new ideas to us, maybe for some, or we're honing them by speaking. This is how you do this.
Right. It's more like a conversation than anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so opposed to, I think in general, artists like actors, even painters, sculptors, people judge them more on their personality in addition to their skill and their ability a little bit more, which we've discussed, separating artists from their art, things like that. But that doesn't seem to be, I mean, it has some, there is something to that in sports, because I think in football, American football, what's his name? Tom Brady. I don't really watch football, but Tom Brady is kind of a contentious figure because some people really don't like the guy. And some people think he's the best. And I don't really know the statistics. I don't really know anything about him. I don't really
probably the best kisser. Yeah, because the thing where he kissed his dad, that's like a thing.
Oh well, okay, sure.
It's it's a goofy meme.
Maybe he did that. I guess that's fine. Whatever. There are cultures where that's normal.
It's just a goofy meme. It's just a goofy meme, and I'd be remiss not to.
You have to inject. You have to inject the memes. Because if I don't, then that's all the comments are. The comments are all memes.
But now that I've said it, like, everyone can chill.
Yeah, they don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank goodness you can't post images in the comments section of YouTube. Let me just tell you that. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I mean, I've known just as many people who think he's the greatest as people who really don't like him. And I think it really boils down to his personality, because he's one of those, as far as I can tell, he's one of those Michael Jordan types where he gets in people's faces. He just super competitive. Like really rubs it in when he wins, really throws a fit when he doesn't.
This has been a thing for a long time, and it spans across several cultures. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Because who is the greatest swordsman to live in Japan?
Miyamoto.
Yeah, Miyamoto Musashi, right?
Yeah.
Guess how he won his fights?
Just by being the most aggressive, right?
And annoying.
Yeah.
Like the one fight against, I forget what's his name. I don't remember his name, but Sasaki, I think, is his other. I don't even know which one's his first or last name. You know how that it goes.
Right. It's impossible to tell sometimes. Yeah.
So there's this dude who wants to fight him, and he's like, all right, I'll fight you. Like, how you want to do this? They arrange it. Miyamoto shows up several hours late because he decided he was just gonna row. He was gonna paddle over there in a little boat. He didn't bring his sword. He brought a wooden sword, and he's gonna fight with that. He used that as his oar. That's why he was so late, by the way. And he didn't like do whatever other respectful stuff and start the fight the right way. He just kind of showed up and was like, all right, let's do this. Planned it out perfectly so that the sun would be at his back. Like this, he wanted to be there at that time, you know, like he knew what he was doing. And he won. He definitely won the fight. Actually, so people called out the other guy because Musashi like hit him with the sword, and the other guy fell over, and then he still like swung at him afterward, like swiped at his legs, and Musashi jumped over it and killed him.
With a wooden sword.
With a wooden sword, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it was big, yeah. So because the other guy had this like long, like extra long katana, which is actually a katana is not a very long sword, but he had like a daito like sized one, so it was like 40 something inches, maybe 50 inches long, that kind of thing. So the blade was pretty long. Like the handle would have been as long as maybe my forearm and my hand, so like a much longer blade and stuff. But Miyamoto's ore sword thing was longer, so that he could just swing it and like hit him from further away. Now, everything that Miyamoto does is part truth and part legend. Like, we know he was real, and there are records of a lot of his fights. But in this particular one, people say that he dodged the first attack. He waited until the very last second, and after the fight, people realized, Miyamoto's hair was messed up because his headband had been cut in half on the first strike, but he was unscathed.
Right. Yeah. Stuff like that. Like he dodged it so perfectly.
But he like his whole deal was that he wouldn't take a fair fight. Like eventually he was so good at fighting that it was already not fair. Like just to have him in the fight, and he would just fight like multiple people, and he would just beat them.
He would win, yeah.
Yeah. And eventually, he actually was so good that he was like, "All right, like there is a limit, so I'm not going to fight people with a steel sword anymore. I'm going to use wooden ones from now on again." Because it was just too easy for him.
Just as a rule.
Yeah, but like you also don't go into a fight stacked against you if you want to be a winner, right?
That's true. Well, that's okay.
There is a different type of winner, I guess.
Okay.
And that is the underdog,
right? Which is a big part of American culture. And I think that's how people saw Michael Jordan. Or that's how they wanted to see Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I think in some cases, because like who cared about the Chicago Bulls, right? Like,
right.
He and his team kind of did just come out of nowhere and like go from zero to hero,
right? And like everybody always spreads the fact that he was cut from his high school basketball team, like stuff like that, because people like that underdog story. But I don't think he ever really was an underdog.
No, yeah. I mean, well, the thing about his high school team, yeah, that's true. But I don't remember the reasoning for it.
Well, I think it had more to do with his personality than his basketball playing.
Yeah.
People try to make it sound like it's. I think it's because he wasn't being a team player.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it was because he was bad at basketball. He wasn't.
I think he was bad for the team.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but people don't want to see him that way for one reason or another. It's interesting, right? Because, there are people out there who have a lot of skill and maybe never actually did anything wrong, quote unquote, so to speak, but somehow something weird gets rumored out there and suddenly they're a sham. Like they're not like what it's all about public. It's why public relations is like a real career thing that you can do because it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, this is just a conversation we're just going. We weren't planning on talking about this, so maybe this won't go anywhere interesting, but it is fascinating to think about what made Michael Jordan into that narrative. Like, was that on purpose or did that just happen? I mean, I don't know. Did somebody craft the narrative of Michael Jordan on purpose to make him this iconic figure, or, did it just happen? Like, we can think of a public, other public figures like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was, a huge figure, a huge public figure. And then he was basically defaced, and he never fell into, I mean, you can't fall into obscurity, when you get so big.
Right. Yeah.
But he did the closest thing, I think.
Yeah. Ignominy.
What does that mean?
He's now ignominious.
Ignominious.
Yeah. I think that just means that people think bad things about him.
Right.
I mean, which are, I'm not saying they're not true. I think that they probably are. But it just literally, like, now the general opinion is like, that guy. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, and I say they probably, because I haven't looked at any of the stuff about it firsthand. Like,
no. There's a documentary out there, and I never watched it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Any
either.
information I have is third, fourth, or fifth hand at best.
I did a research paper on it in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little bit more on the side of thinking
moron.
I'm a little moron. All right. You got a nice little clip there. You can clip that if you want.
Yeah.
I am on I lean toward the opinion that it was all trumped up, but it's hard to say.
Yeah. Because that was, the information available at the time when you did the report.
Well, that's true too. That's
part of it.
That's part of it. Indeed.
Who knows?
I guess I don't have any other information beyond that. So how could I tell for sure? Well, do you want to hear from Dungeon_Strugglers?
Yep.
Okay, Dungeon Strugglers has...
Also known as Douglers for short.
Yeah. I'm going to call you Douglers. Doug.
What's up, Doug? All right.
Doug for double short. We've got Sharon's Obel.
Hey.
Yeah?
That's in Rogue Legacy. I've been playing that recently.
Oh, okay. So that's like it's like a thing.
It's a thing in that game.
In a game, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it does in the game.
Okay.
And then you tell me if this makes sense.
Okay.
Rogue Legacy is a roguelite game where you're trying to go through a big old, dungeon castle whole deal. And you're trying to collect money so that way you can upgrade yourself so you can take on the bosses and beat the game. Every time you go through the castle thing and die, you can spend your money and buy upgrades, but you have to pay all your money to Sharon to get back in. And Sharon, by the way, if you're listening, is Charon.
Yep.
Not Sharon Osbourne or something like that. In case you're not watching this, because if you were watching it, you would see which one we were talking about.
Right. You could tell.
Yeah. Sharon's Obor makes it so you do not have to pay him this one time when you go into the castle. You get to keep the gold that you earned through your last trip, and then you can add it to whatever you get in your next trip.
Okay. This is maybe the name of this might have been inspired by the game.
Or the game was inspired by it. Maybe it's an actual thing.
You know
right?
what? That's probably more likely.
It could go the other way around. Yeah.
It's probably more likely that they're both inspired by a common thing.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's hear what this one does. Does it let you keep gold when you die? That's all I need it to do.
No.
Darn it.
Well, maybe. I actually didn't read all of these.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The what they do depends on the value of the coin. So, the common ones are copper. So if you have copper, so they all have the same sort of activation. So you can take the coin and you can put it into the mouth of a cadaver, no matter how long it's been dead. Does it say humanoid or not? I don't know if it specifies. No, it just says a dead creature.
Oh.
And the effect depends on the rarity of the coin. So if it's a copper coin, the corpse cannot become undead. So necromancy doesn't work. It cannot become undead.
Yeah, this is just a thing. It's just a thing.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that too.
Yeah, it totally is. Okay, keep going.
Silver.
Mm-hmm.
The corpse cannot be targeted by any necromantic magic at all. So there are things that don't turn something undead, but still have other effects, like speak to the dead or something like that. But silver, that kind of stuff doesn't work either. If the coin is gold, the corpse is resistant to all damage and protected from decay. If a creature attempts to remove the coin from the corpse's mouth, they must make a DC 15 con save, or they take 5d10 radiant damage and cannot remove the coin. I assume that it's also, I have a feeling like the stacks, you know what I mean? So they also can't be targeted by necromancy and yada,
right.
yada.
Yeah. Includes all lower tiers of support, just like our Patreon.
Yes. You get everything from the first few tiers. In addition, the platinum coin allows you, the corpse is immune to all damage, cannot be targeted by divination magic or perceived through any scrying sensors. A creature that attempts to remove the coin makes a DC 16 con save, or they take 10 d10 radiant damage and are thrown 20 feet from the corpse.
Yo, this is really cool way. This would be a cool way to like set up a thing, set up like a quest.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
On a successful save, they still take half the damage, but they're not thrown and they are able to remove the coin. So they take damage no matter what. Yeah, so that's all of them. That's all of them. This is cool. This is cool. I feel like this is like a cultural thing. Like you go to a land where the people do this because decades ago, their forefathers, the country was taken over by a necromancer and a hero saved them. And they learned how to make these so their dead cannot be risen again. You know, something like that. And then the actual adventure has something to do with, you actually need to talk to some of these corpses to figure out some piece of information that was lost to history. So you have to like, I don't know, like figure out how they work or like just try to brute force it and try to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
Yeah. Or I'm thinking of like, you know, trying to find somebody. You like maybe even slowly you're throughout an adventure, your party comes across these. And so they know that there, you know, this is a concept in the world. And they also hear about an adventurer who died, you know, at some point. And people say that they swear that they have seen that person more recently than they died or whatever, that sort of thing. But then, you find that it couldn't be them because here they are, right? Like this is the actual, you find like their actual body, it's perfectly preserved and it's unable, like you can't find it because it, divination magic doesn't work because of course they had a platinum, Sharon's Obor. And yeah, that could be fun. That could be fun to stumble across. Be like, oh my God, wait, really? They're like just right here? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's something to like, you can't raise any of them, but you can still talk to the ones that have copper. You know? So like,
I mean, you could just, you can revivify them, I believe.
Well, specifically revivify is within the last minute. They had to have died within the last minute.
Oh, true. Yeah. But you could bring them back with other, other magic.
You could.
I believe
some the like next tier of resurrection magic is days, and then the last one is like a 7th to 9th level spell, and it's true resurrection. I think true resurrection is 9th. And it's like it could be any time, and you don't even need a body.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So in which case, if
there is one that's close to that's like a really long time, but you do need the body.
I think there is one that's 100 years.
And since their body wouldn't be decaying under certain ones of these, then you could use that. So that yeah.
All the important ones. Not and it's like a, there probably would be like a class thing where the poorer people can only afford the copper ones, and so and the wealthier folks can have the gold and platinum ones. So, and that darned middle class, they all have the silver ones. Okay. But it's an interesting setup. I don't know that it's necessarily interesting as just a one-off item that you get, but it is an interesting concept as an adventure.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
That's a whole adventure right there, just in one magic item set.
No,
a set of magic items.
Pivot from that.
Okay.
What would our Patreon tiers be called? Because you could have the copper piece, silver piece, if you want to be lame and generic and bland.
I already don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If there was only one person making any D&D anything, and they were the only one on Patreon, yeah, that's what they would have to go with. But ours would have to be specific to us. And also, like, what would the rewards be? Whoa, we are not that far.
No. Let's get in the triple digits.
For one of the tiers, I'm sure that the reward could be, like, we play a game
that they choose.
Well, I mean, we play with them.
Oh, we play with them.
It would be a high tier.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like once a month we DM for them or something.
Oh, I don't know why I was thinking video game.
Heck yeah, dude. That's a lower tier then.
Yeah.
But I'll do it. I'll play Smash Bros with you.
Oh, you got Smash Bros?
You guys want to play some?
Hold on, I got to send you that video. Have you seen that one?
Which one?
Where the guy it's, you know what?
You got to send it.
I'm just going to send it to you.
Yeah.
Put that video in the link down below.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So I'll tell you it's good.
I think one of the tiers has to be named after basket.
A basket tier, yeah.
A basket tier.
A basket tier.
Well, that's the name of it. And
the lowest is definitely the sorcerer tier.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I guess it would go sorcerer is like $1 a month. because that might be the minimum on Patreon. I don't remember. All right, so Sorcerer is $1 a month. You don't get anything. Except for insults. We'll insult you.
We will insult
you every month.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Collectively.
No, one like each one of them.
Oh, each one of them.
I will insult all. Like it can be the same insult. I don't have to come up with a unique insult, but the whole group will receive in their own email inbox. They will receive an insult from me,
from you
each month
personally. Yes. Cool.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
That's a cool one.
Higher tiers include that if they want it. You can opt out of the insult if it would make you feel bad.
But why would you?
Why would you?
It's
already going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well just jump right into it.
You might as well just jump right into it. All right. So the next tier up obviously gets access to our Discord server.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And a monthly stream. Is that it? Can we do that? Give patrons access to a monthly stream. Look, it'll be some kind of cool monthly event.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, we can.
Where we all hang out and we're having a good time.
We can just make an OnlyFans and then.
I guess if we just do it in Discord, right? Like we just use OBS, hook it up. I mean, maybe OBS isn't even needed then. Just screen share in Discord and like, hey, everybody, how's it going?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. My computer doesn't run well enough to be able to do a game and Discord at the same time.
Mine does, but my internet's not good enough.
Yeah, that's true.
For stuff like that, usually. Although it's okay at Discord. Like, I mean, it's not too bad. I think I can screen share at least. So we could probably make that happen.
Yeah.
But what's that tier called? This is not basketeer.
No.
You're a basketeer if you're in like the top tier and you like we're DMing for you or some cool like unique a unique thing like that. Like like where it's actually like us interacting with you directly. Like cuz I mean it would be fun. That'd be fun. But yeah, that's only if you're a basketeer.
Only if you're a basketeer.
Like if you're not going to put your life on the line for the basket, then get out of my house.
Leave. We don't want you here.
She's very tired today. All right,
no kidding.
All right, we got the sorcerer tier, which is probably my favorite. Maybe that's the only tier we're gonna.
It's just.
You cannot pay us more than $1, but if you pay us exactly $1 a month, I will insult you every month.
Every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that a lot. And I don't have to write it down because I'm going to listen to myself say this later.
You're just going to hear it again.
Yeah, and then I can write it down.
Okay.
We're not making a Patreon right now or anything, by the way, guys, if you're worried. No, we're not there, but it's fun to think about what's actually a good idea. What do people like?
What do I do all the time? What do I say all the time? Nothing. I don't talk about anything.
Yeah, are you even on this show?
I'm not sure sometimes. I know Basket is, but I don't know if I am.
I don't know if I am either. Sometimes. It's weird. It's weird that I allow myself to have like a catchphrase sort of deal or like a thing, because I usually hate that when I do it. Like I hate that about myself.
Oh, I've got it.
Oh, what you got?
I've got the next tier up.
Uh-huh.
It's the Brewers tier.
Yeah, okay.
It's the Brewers tier. They get access to the Discord where they can compare their home brews and talk to each other.
Oh my God, I love it. I would love if we had people up in the Discord with us and we could review their homebrew for people, right? And like point people in that direction, you know? Because there are people out there who make at least money, like as a hobby or maybe a living. I don't know who are other people making a living from it. But there are people who are making money making homebrew, and then people sign up for their Patreon to get access to all the homebrew. Rad. That's great.
That is rad.
And we totally will review your homebrew. And we'll review your homebrew in the server.
We're gonna review your homebrew.
All right. So the brewer. So we got the sorcerers, brewers. This is all starting to sound like there's a pattern, because the basketeer is also like a thing. So,
yeah.
So all the other tiers have to be almost like an occupational noun.
Oh, wait. You know what, though?
Mm-hmm.
I'm realizing how perfect the first one really is. Because we're talking about the sorcerer's tier. And they should be ashamed of themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, cool.
All right. If it was $10 a month, though, for the sorcerer's tier.
How? Okay. You're going to justify this somehow.
I'm not actually that great at coming up with insults. It'll take me some practice. So maybe I'll start practicing it.
Yeah, practice it on.
I mean, this is gonna be great material for your vicious mockery spells.
Oh yeah.
So if you play a sorcerer, stop doing that. Play a bard instead.
Play a bard,
and you'll be able to cast vicious mockery on people.
Maybe that should be next, the bard tier.
But that doesn't end in ER.
Yeah, but
can it be the barter?
The barter tier. I don't know. Okay.
I'm willing to haggle. Do you get it? Oh, that was.
You look so disappointed. So disappointed in yourself. Oh boy.
Well, no. Okay.
So
sorcerer is unique to us. I don't know if bards are unique to us.
No, that's just
like if we have a real connection with those.
Not other than the name of the show. No, not really.
No. I mean, definitely that could be pulled into something.
Right, but I think it would have to be more clever than I'm capable of being at the moment.
Me too.
Cool.
To be honest, guys, we've had a couple. Is that how you say that?
I don't know. I mean, depends.
Like
what you mean.
We've had a few. We've been having a few.
We've
had a few. We've had a couple.
I don't know what you mean.
Not a full 8 hours of sleep for sure. Like not even close. I had enough in me today to last until about noon, and here we are at 3:52.
It's actually getting close to when I should be going to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's not I work early in the morning.
Yep.
Think about how early in the morning you think I'm talking about, and it's earlier than that.
It's basically in the night. It's at night.
It's actually the middle of the night.
It starts at night and then goes until what people would consider near the beginning still of the morning.
Right. So
like not even late morning.
Yeah, not even late morning.
You are done before late morning.
I guess so. I guess I'm done before late morning.
Yeah. The earliest I could push late morning is 9:30.
Yep, done before that.
Yeah, anything like 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock is definitely late morning. 9:29 cannot be. No, that is not late morning. That's regular morning.
And that's the Goldilocks zone of morning between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Wait, does morning have 3 sections? Is it early, regular, and late morning? Or is it just early morning, late morning? I think it's just early morning, late morning.
You think so?
That's what I personally think right now. Yeah. Early morning is like 5 to 9-ish. And late morning is 9 to noon.
You see, I would consider early morning, maybe this is my bias speaking, I would consider early morning to be like 4 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the hours between 8 and 10
Or just regular morning?
Or like 7 to 10, a regular morning. And then 10 to noon or late morning. That's what I think.
So
he's thinking about it. Yeah.
Like what's a good word for like a linguist? Linguister tier?
The linguister tier. The languager tier.
Yeah, that'll work.
The speaker tier.
Speaker tier. All right, we figured it out. That's what the middle one's called. We don't know what the rewards are going to be yet.
Talker tier. I like the way that sounds. Talker tier.
Yeah, I mean, my brain says it's late enough to agree with that.
Orders originals.
All right, catch you later, dudes.
Oh, okay, bye.